Hi guys, welcome back to Wicket. We saw a very eventful day of Test cricket today with, India getting bundled up for 36. Yeah, there's obviously, it was a very scintillating game, I think, to say the least. And, yeah, I guess, well, do you have any better words to describe what you saw today?
Breathtaking. I think, yeah, there weren't many words to describe. I mean, in a sense, it's embarrassing to be honest. If you're part of the Indian staff or the batsman,
Yeah.
especially when pretty much had the game in a driver's seat with the lead
Yeah.
of what. I think at the end of the day they were 1 for 6, they were 1 for 9, but 1 for 70 or something, roughly. To have a game in that sort of period in a pink ball test against Australia, which are basically at their strongest, except without Warner. You got to take that game by the scruff of the neck, and they just completely let it slip. And I mean, credit obviously has to go fully to Australia's bowlers too. They didn't really play any other than I think Saha and maybe one other wicket. The rest are all Jaffers, to be honest. They couldn't really do much else. Yeah, I mean, there's argument to be said that they were too defensive, but the same could be said of the Australians too. I think that's a big point overall. To be honest, that overall both sides were really really defensive batting. They weren't even looking to score. They were just looking to survive. I think Payne's innings definitely stands out.
Definitely, yeah.
But even Kohli got 74, but it was off 190, so I wouldn't say his innings even stands out. So yeah, what do you have to say about that sort of slow batting from both sides? Do you think it's the bowling or it's just lack of intent?
I mean,
Or mixture of both?
it's obviously the bowling. We knew in this series the bowling's going to be top class, and it was quite good for the first innings for India and Australia.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel it was just a bit disappointing to see. The pitch was definitely doing a bit, but it wasn't doing a lot.
No.
And just to see that a lot of India's top order and a lot of Australia's top order, or pretty much, if you go across the teams, the top, the 12 batsmen or 12, 14 batsmen, really didn't look like they were wanting to score. The intent wasn't quite there, and there were plenty of balls that were probably there to score. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, there was definitely a lot of good balls being bowled. In India's first innings, they bowled really well to Australia, but then India backed up and really also bowled really well too.
Yeah.
But then we see Payne's innings and he scored quite freely. Yes, it was probably a little bit later in the innings, but to be fair, I mean, in those night conditions, actually, it's pretty difficult to bat as well.
No.
I mean, so to see that he scored quite freely goes to show that in general, I think throughout the two teams, they didn't really look to score very well.
Yeah.
And it really started with, obviously, India not really taking initiative after winning the toss and going in. They lost the early wicket with Shaw. Pujara came in and got, I don't know, whatever it was, 30 or 40.
43 of 160.
50 billion balls.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it looks really good you got 40, but unfortunately, after that many balls, you need to probably do a little bit more damage. I mean, there was definitely some loose balls that he wasn't really looking to score. And look, maybe that way probably did work last time, but this time looks like it didn't work so well. But it's not even that. I mean, I know Pujara takes a lot of balls to sort of get going, and he plays a slow game, which is cool. But even last time when he was here, he did occupy a lot of balls, but then there was a certain point where he looked to take the initiative and start to score more.
Yeah.
While he never really kicked on, he occupied a lot of balls and didn't actually look to kick on. Or really start to look to score a bit more.
Yeah.
Which I felt like he definitely did. The last time he was here, he did occupy a lot of balls, but by the time he got to 40, 30, 40, he did look to score more. Well, I feel like he didn't actually do that this innings. And obviously Kohli scored a little bit uncharacteristically slow for him.
Yeah.
But credit has to go to the bowlers. I think the bowlers bowled quite well this game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess leaving the batsmen because they didn't do much. I mean, going to the bowlers, both sides are really brilliant. I mean,
Yeah.
the first innings, Stark coming into the fourth, he's brilliant with the pink ball. He's like a different bowler completely. Cummins got 3 for in the first dig. Then you go on to India's innings. They got 244. It was okay total, under par. But then they ripped through the Australians, really. Payne's innings was the only one that stood out. And Australia got rolled for 190, 191. So, yeah, I mean, Shami didn't get any wickets, but I think he bowled the best, to be honest. Ashwin did bag 4, but I feel like he got them because of Shami and Bumrah's
Yeah,
pressure.
he didn't bowl the best. He bowled he bowled okay, but you know,
Ashwin,
Ashwin, he bowled okay, but he did get the wickets. So sometimes you don't bowl that well, and you get wickets. Sometimes you bowl really well, like Shami, you get nothing. So yeah.
I mean, they bowled really well, but it has to be said that they let the game go when they dropped Labuschagne 3 times. They missed a run out, I think, or something like that. Like overall,
No, they dropped Payne as well.
Oh, they dropped Payne.
Of a pull shot or something. Yeah.
So their fielding just overall is really, really poor, and it goes to a point in global cricket that the fielding's been really, really bad since we've returned from COVID. I mean, the Test series that we've seen, the One Days, the Big Bash, the IPL. I'm seeing like a lot of easy drop catches like happening. They see it like R levels, like. No, you don't even see that at our levels sometimes. I mean, that Prithvi Shaw catch, that was like, it was regulation. I mean, he made that look like it was like a KFC, like Jordan Silk catch or something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's because they're rusty, but they should train like enough to get back into it. But yeah.
I mean, they do heaps of fielding. I mean, we know this.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
We see it all the time. If you even just go watch a game live, that's what they're doing most of the time. They're doing heaps and heaps of fielding, so the quantity is definitely going to be there. It's just the pressure moments, I guess, that can happen. And Prithvi Shaw in his defense hasn't had a great game, so that could have been dwelling like, oh shit, my next innings, and then all of a sudden the ball comes to you and you're not ready. So.
I guess then India came out to bat. They were 1 for 10, looking alright, and then they had the classic collapse that we've all seen in our respective groups before, but you don't really see it in international cricket much, and this is the first time actually lowest ever score for India in all Test cricket, and it was amazing, really. Hazelwood 5 for 8, Cummins 4 for 21. It was just great bowling from those two, and it's shown the last couple of years Australia has ignited a couple of collapses, and I think great bowling attacks do that. Like maybe you can do it, most attacks do it like once. But if you do it multiple times, like once per year or twice per year, it really like shows measures of how good your bowling attack is. Like they did it against England in Headingley, right? Yeah, Headingley.
So,
they did it against England in Headingley. Now they did it again here against India. England, India. It's the top 2 sides as well. So it's really good for them. I mean, it brings me back to memories of like Dale Steyn, Philander, and Morkel back in their heyday when they used to roll Australia, Pakistan, and those teams. So it's really shaping up to be a good attack. I mean, it's been really good for them.
Just a top class bowling performance. I mean, we saw the wickets fall. A lot of them were very good deliveries, not particularly bad shots from the Indian top order. A lot of good deliveries, and it's just, I guess it just comes from bowling a lot just in that good area. If you look to the pitch maps, Australia bowled a ton of balls in that good area, you know, testing that 4th to off stump line. And that's, you know, I think Cummings did that really, really well. Look, Hazelwood did obviously bowl very well as well, but I felt like I felt like when I was watching Cummings bowl last night and today, just he bowled so many balls. If you actually sit there and watch every ball, he just bowls so many balls in that 4th stump, off stump sort of line, which is just good length. It was just relentless bowling. It's similar to what he did in England to Joe Root, just in that spot. And if it nips either way, you're in trouble. Because if it nips away from you, it's going to test the outside edge. If it nips into you, it's going to test your front pad. If you don't, if your defense isn't there. I mean, it was just relentless bowling. It was. It was outstanding, and just that ball to get at Pujara was really good. We all know how good he is at his defensive game, and to be able to nick him off the way he did was really good. And then to follow up getting Colby, looked like everything was just going to plan for the Aussies. They bought a wide to Coley, he went for it, and then he nicked off. And a lot of credit has to go to the Australian bowlers. They're just fantastic bowling.
It speaks measures that Cummins has like an average of 16 against Kohli. He's probably got an average of like under 16 against Root. Two of the world's best batsmen there. I'm not sure about others, but it's really good that he's not just the world's number one bowler, he's also doing well against like the world's like top 10 batsmen as well. So it's pretty good from him.
Yeah, no, I feel like some people still don't think that he's the number one bowler, but I definitely think that he's been number one bowler for a while now. Bumrah is obviously he's good, but I just think Cummings is at another level. They're both high class bowlers, but I think definitely Cummings is just that little bit ahead, definitely, or not just a little bit, but by like enough of a recognizable gap. It's just that consistency. And then even to have someone like Josh Hazlewood as your counterpart, just great. Comes on casually, first ball, just on the same sort of spot. A little bit taller than Cummings, I'm pretty sure. Hazlewood is. So I guess that extra bit of bounce. Just really good. Really good to watch.
So what do you think, like, I guess moving on to the problems for India, I mean, if I list out a couple of them, you have Kohli departing now, Shami possibly broken arm, fractured, maybe out for the next test, Shaw out of form, fielding abysmal, Rahane running out his captain and probably low on confidence after getting rolled. I mean, there's a lot of question marks on that side. I mean, what would you do if you're Ravi Shastri and the leadership group, which I guess is Rahane? What sort of things would you do to get your team back up for this? Because the series not over. It's only one game. You still have to keep fighting to stay in this.
Look, if I was part of the Indian coaching staff, I'd probably go that we did a lot of things. We did a lot of things right for most of the game. For if you go, I think for most of the sessions, they were very competitive sessions. They bowled quite well day one. They batted, not too bad. They got given the conditions, and we saw Australia bat, they got like a not a bad target, Then they bowled at Australia cheaply, and then that first innings was actually quite high quality cricket from both sides, and India did play very well, and they were actually ahead of the game up until today. So I think there's definitely some positive signs there. Their bowling unit did bowl quite well. Second innings, you can't expect any bowling unit to really defend 90. It's not possible. No. It's very, very rare anyway.
And they had no Shami on as well.
So just, look, I think if I was them, really, I'd just really focus on the positives. There's no point dwelling on the negatives of getting out for 36. Dwelling on that would just give you more nightmares, and then more fingers be pointed, like, this guy's not performing, that guy's not performing. I think really, you have to look at the positives, that they did do a lot of things right. Unfortunately, they screwed up with their batting innings. They got outclassed. That happens. I think this is a long series. There's not 3 games. If they're deflated now, that's over. I really hope Ravi Shastri isn't just going there hounding them, because that's just going to get them just downhill, and they're not going to win shit if that's the case. So I hope they're still like being positive. They did a lot of things right. Obviously, they have to look into their batting. There is question marks. So you mentioned Prithvi Shaw. I guess we mentioned before the series even began that Prithvi Shaw was a bit of a I didn't think his technique was up to test level. And I guess I don't want to say I told you so, but what I said did come to be, because his technique wasn't quite there. He's talented, but he does have a lot of work to do to tighten up that technique. I just knew that someone like Cummings, Hazlewood, etc., will expose that technique that he's got there. So will they stick with him? Will they not? Honestly, I thought when they picked him was the wrong decision. But if you really picked him for one game, like you stuck with him, and Rohit Sharma's not going to be available for another third test apparently. So I think you'd have to go with him again. I mean, you'd have to give him a chance, to prove that he can do it. Melbourne might be a bit easier, more road-like conditions. I think you'd have to probably stick with Prithvi Shaw. In terms of what was your other question that you asked?
I guess just really just fielding and I guess Kohli leaving.
Yeah, so Corey leaving, I guess that'll probably mean Shubman Gill will probably come in, possibly. I don't know if they're thinking about bringing Punt back in or something like that. But I think Shubman Gill looks like a decent bat. I've seen a bit of him in various, I think we saw a bit of him in IPO and I think under-19 World Cup a couple of years ago. Yeah. Obviously, it's different format, but I think he's definitely pretty skilled. Yeah, he's good. He's got talent. Whether he can do it in test level, obviously we'll have to see. But I think it would be not bad to bring him in. But where will he bat? Will he bat at 3? I don't know. I mean, unless you get rid of Prithvi Shaw, put him opening, and then you get Rahul in the middle order. I'm not sure. I feel like. Rahul has been pretty good touch, so maybe they should play him, but not in the top order. I would say more like middle order, so like 5-ish. So maybe Rahana can go up, and then he slots into 5, maybe. I'm not sure. There's definitely gonna be question marks. Kohli's gone, and there's definitely gonna be a reshuffle in that team for sure. And I'm sure with fielding, I'm sure they're going to be doing heaps of fielding, but all international sides do heaps of fielding, I can tell you that now. So, it's just a matter of everyone dropped it on the same day.
I think it's worth noting that really India only lost one session, and that lost them the game.
That's true.
It was just a really bad session, that's it.
Exactly, that's why, that's what I was saying. If Ravi Shastri should really be focusing on all the positives they did, they really just screwed up today. Unfortunately, that lost them the game. That's really the main point that I think India need to really focus on if they're going to bounce out of this and fight back to Australia.
I mean, I think also that when you look at great teams, you don't just see that they've won like every single game that they've ever played. It's how they came back from losses like these. That shows if you're a great team or just a normal team. If you can come back from this and win the next game, then India can be called one of the greatest teams ever. Because this is a really deflating loss. This is where your captain, your leadership group, your coach really have to bundle the side together and bring them back. Really just wake the players up, do whatever you have to, but really get them prepared for that next test. I mean, they have quite a lot of time between the tests now, so that'll probably help them. I think roughly a week, a week. So, they have a lot of time to come back and regroup, refresh, be rejuvenated. I mean, this is supposed to be the two best teams battling it out, so they better not just hand it over 4-0. I mean, if Australia win 4-0, you want it to be a good competition. So, I guess, we talked really about the changes, so Gill, KL Rahul. If Shami doesn't play, do you go Siraj or Saini?
I mean, I don't really think Saini's that great of a bowler, to be honest.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, if you have Saini in there with Umesh Yadav, you pretty much have the RCB bowling lineup, and we all know what happened with that. I don't know. Australia's going to be 400 for none, with those two together. I mean, Umesh Yadav actually bowled not bad in the first innings. But I don't know, Saini, he bowls a lot of loose stuff. That's my only concern with him. I feel like without Ishant Sharma being there, without Shami being there, you really need someone who can offer you control, and I'm not sure Saini gives that. So you might need to look at other options. I'm not sure about Siraj. I don't know too much about Siraj. Is he that ball that can give them control?
Possible,
then he might be the avenue they have to go down. I think playing Saini, I just feel like they just got excited because he can bowl over 140.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, I'm just not sure. Like he bowls just too much loose stuff from what I've seen.
Yeah.
That's just it's a bit concerning for me if I was to pick, if I was Indian, if I was to pick him. It's a bit different if you have Ishant Sharma, Bumrah, Ashwin, then you probably can risk picking Saini.
Yeah.
But you don't have, if you don't have Shami, you don't have Ishant Sharma, and you do have Umesh Yadav, then it's tough to pick Saini as well. You really need someone to give you that control.
Yeah.
That's how you win games in Australia, by having bowlers that can give you some control. You can play one X factor bowler, but you can't play too many bowlers who are like that.
Yeah. Well, I guess moving on from India, I mean, they had a bad loss and we can go over all the negatives, but moving on to Australia, I mean, how many positives were there from them? I mean, I wrote some of them down, but off the top of my head, you had actually, first of all, they had Stark come into good form. I mean, heading into this tour, he was in really bad form in Shield. I don't think he took 1 or 2 wickets in 2 games. He was bowling appallingly. I mean, he was getting slogged around, and then comes in first innings 4 for. I mean, he shut all the critics down in that first dig. So it was really good from him there. And then you had, obviously, biggest one is Joe Burns. I mean, struggled in the first dig, he did. Second dig, he was struggling, but he fought hard and got that 50. And he shut everyone. I mean, even myself, I won't lie. I don't think he should have been selected, but he got the 50 and he shut all the critics up, which is probably most of Australia, most of everyone who was watching. It was really good knock, and he did get hit in the arm too, so it was a brave knock as well. So it was pretty good batting from him. I think another one who goes under the radar is Tim Payne. People have been scrutinizing him ever since he started the job. Even heading into this series, people are like, "Oh, come on, just hand Steve Smith the captaincy, get rid of him. He's too old. He can't bat." And I think he shut them down in a big, big way. He batted well. He kept well. He captained well. It was a really good. I would say 10 out of 10 performance from him in this game, and he got them out of the match too. So
did he? Okay.
Yeah. So it was really good from him.
He got man of the match. Even the bowlers got fifers and stuff.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's a batsman's game, but
might have gone with Hazelwood.
Yeah.
But that innings was actually really important, to be honest. Yeah, and he was scoring freely. So fair enough, I guess.
No, I think a lot of the media have been scrutinizing Tim Payne quite heavily, especially Australian media over here, about whether he should be in the side, whether he can keep. But there was a really interesting stat I saw Michael Hussey bring up, that he's got the second highest average of any Australian keeper ever. So he's averaging, I think, 33 now, 34, and he's gone past Brad Haddon now. And after Gilchrist, he's actually second. So we're saying all these words about him, that he can't bat and whatnot, but there's no one actually in between. No one's been there before Gilchrist or after Gilchrist. So it was good on him. Yeah, it was really good knock. And I hope there's no more question marks about his captaincy and his batting ability as well. So he was really good. I mean, Hazelwood, Cummins, exceptional, really good bowling unit, and I guess it was all really positive, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty positive stuff.
Cameron Green he looked alright until he got out, but he looked pretty good.
Got it to a half tracker, so Wicket taking delivery in all levels by the looks of it.
He looked pretty good. I mean, heading into the second test for Australia, they do also have to make some changes.
Yeah, but I guess Cameron Green also bowled well as well.
Yeah, he did.
With some good pace.
Quick,
140, 145. I think I even saw a couple of balls of 146.
Yeah.
That's almost as quick. That is as quick as your frontline bowlers. To see your number 6 batsman bowl at those sort of speeds with relatively good accuracy. Is pretty interesting. See, obviously, he's predominantly in the side as a batsman, but it's really good to see that he can support the 4 main bowlers like that. Promising signs.
I mean, after all these positives heading into the second test, Australia also have to make some selection decisions, because Warner comes back in and he is a selection automatically, averaging 50, and he dominates at home. So he walks in. Who do you get rid of now? Do you get rid of Joe Burns? Do you get rid of Wade? Or I think what they'll do, which I'm guessing think as well, is they'll bring Warner in. Oh, stupid fly. They'll bring Warner in. They'll keep Joe Burns. They'll go obviously same Labuschagne Smith. Then they'll go Wade, Cameron Green, Tim Payne, and bowling order set. So I think they'll drop Head. Do you agree?
I hope that's what they do, because I feel like the team looks a lot better with Cameron Green in it there to support the already strong bowling lineup.
I feel like it looks better with Wade in the middle too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Wade was only just temporarily doing it.
Yeah.
All hats off to him to just go out and open. I mean, why would you even want to do that? But anyways, to go out and open, he did a good job, for like a temporary opener.
Temporary captain.
Temporary. Joe Burns, I think they'll obviously keep him. 51, he got this innings, battled it out. Well, gutsy knock. Obviously one will come in, and I think it's really a question of whether if they keep Head or Cameron Green. Honestly, I feel like they should definitely keep Cameron Green, because he's like your he's obviously like an all around that bowls genuine pace, and also is going to be like a middle order bat. Travis Head, I know it's tough, but unfortunately I think he's probably going to have to miss out. He didn't really do anything in the first innings. Pretty soft dismissal. In all fairness, he has got quite a few opportunities in general, but I don't think it's the end anyway. I'm sure he'll get another run anyways, but I think for the time being, I think if I was Australia, I'd probably sit him out and keep Cameron Green in. I like what I see from Cameron Green, and give him like a bit of extended run. To be fair, Travis Head has had a bit of an extended run. He's had quite a few chances, and he's got not a bad record. He averages around 40. He hasn't made big runs against any top teams yet. But I'm sure even if they do drop him, it's not end off him anyway.
Yeah.
He's not that old, so he'll definitely still be playing for Australia at some point. But for the time being, I think definitely. I think it'd be really good to keep Cameron Green in there. For tests, you need like if you have someone that can bowl 10 overs to support your 4 other bowlers, it helps a lot. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess we can really conclude there, but I guess the last point, if you want to make, is who do you think who are top 5 performers for the match, I guess?
Top 5 performers, so look, Tim Payne. Tim Payne, Cummings, Hazelwood, so that's 3 already. Who else? I guess I got to give it to Joe Burns. Sure, was 50 and chasing 93 or whatever. May not seem like that important. I mean, you really lost 2 wickets or whatever. But I can just, if you just think of the perspective of him, to imagine the pressure he's under. And, they're human. They're reading he's probably going to try to avoid the headlines, but he knows what everyone's saying. He knows what the headlines are saying, what the Australian public is saying. All that pressure to come out and, fight through. He got bruised and battered, and to get 51, showed a lot of guts, and I think he definitely is one of those players. 5th one, I'm not sure, to be honest. Who else? Unless you go Colby.
Might go Colby, I guess.
He batted he batted slowly but relatively untroubled in the first innings.
He probably would have got 100 if he didn't get run out.
I think so. I think so. He was looking good.
He took a good catch as well.
Yeah, it was a pretty good catch. To go to Cameron Green.
His game went alright, I guess.
Just the last innings.
Yeah.
I could see what he was trying to do. A lot of people would be like, "Oh, it's a loose shot," but in the game perspective, I could tell that he was trying to, not just sit there and prod. He wanted to be attacking. Unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work out, and you get out, and it looks bad, and whatever. But if he got that away, everyone would be like, "Oh, he's a hero." You know what I mean? Because he might have gotten away a little bit and gone to like 50 or something. But yeah, it was yeah. I can see what he was trying to do in the second innings. It's just play attacking cricket. But you know what? The best batsmen play well when they're playing attacking. So if they get out doing it, so be it. So yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, overall, really good test for Australia. Broke a couple of records. Really good bowling from both sides. Batting, not so much. Defensive game, maybe they need to work on. Yeah, overall good game, and I hope Boxing Day is entertaining. And I hope Boxing Day isn't a road like it has been for the past 4 or 5 years. Hope we get a result. I think there's been 3 draws last 3 times we played there. So yeah, I mean, actually, one last word before we move on from this game is a word on the pink ball tests, and I think how they've made tests in Australia really entertaining again. I mean, I think Shane Warne did point out that he'd want to see pink ball tests like always instead of red ball, and I see the merit to it because in Australia we've had a lot of boring tests like in Sydney and Melbourne especially. Those two have become really boring places to watch cricket.
If Sydney doesn't turn, it's super boring.
And it hasn't turned in the last 5 years. They always just threaten with 2 spinners and they never pick 2 spinners. So yeah, hasn't been good, those 2 locations. But day-night tests and pink ball, it's been really entertaining stuff. I mean, we were on the edge of our seat today watching the game. Yesterday, even first day. Every day was really, really entertaining. And I was going to say, do you think pink ball's the future for especially cricket in Australia?
Yeah, look, I think, pink ball is great. It just makes the test, particularly in Australian conditions, it just adds another element. The batsmen have to work that bit harder. I think it's great, to have the pink ball test, the day-night test. It's just different challenges that we have not seen in the last, however long they've been playing cricket for with red balls. It's a challenge that we haven't seen.
Do you think they could do just day tests like normal, but with pink ball, or does it have to be day-night?
I think they could do it, but I think for the pink ball to be truly effective, I think it probably does have to be day-night because. We didn't see it that much this test, but in the previous years, typically at night, the pink ball does move around a bit more from what we've seen.
Yeah.
It didn't really happen that much this game for some reason.
This is the opposite.
Adelaide maybe was a bit, maybe not that humid or something, I don't know. But in general, it does add another element to it. But I mean, theoretically, you could go pink ball, just day test, and see what happens, and gives the bowls a bit more assistance. It's a bit more competition between bat and ball, not just a slug-a-thon. After 20 overs, does nothing.
It's always more entertaining to see ball on top of bat. It's always really good viewing. Yeah, and then
when batsmen score runs in that, it's it just goes to it's really satisfying to see them fight through that. But, I think it'd be really good. Whether it ever happens or not, I'm not sure. It's tough to say.
I think I'm done with it. It's a really good game. Well played, Australia. 1-0.
Alright, well, I guess we'll wrap it up there. So keep a look for some of our other videos. We've got some GoPro footage and a few other things going on our channel. So check it out. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, see you guys later.